people might remember the Stop Online Piracy Act that they were trying to get through in the United States a couple years ago. And of course, there was a big uprising against a lot of grassroots opposition. A lot of companies, in fact, came out in opposition to it. And one of the big points there was that it required third parties. So if someone posted something on my website that turned out to violate a copyright of Warner Brothers, well, under that, I could be held liable for this. Warner Brothers could take action, legal action against me. As it stands now, if I have material that violates their copyright, it's incumbent on Warner Brothers to go, oh, you have to take this down, and then I have, you know, a reasonable time period to take it down.
So is this why you wrote the other day, this could make Google, Facebook, and indeed anyone with a website into a copyright cop?
Exactly.
But this is the paradox to me. I mean, as you've just said, stronger copyright and patent protection is the very opposite of free trade. They involve government intervention in the market. They restrict competition. They lead, as you've just said, to higher prices for consumers. How can you describe this as a free trade agreement?
I think the free trade idea is what's being used to bully a lot of the countries into it, that if you're not part of this deal, you'll somehow be left on the outside. You know, for example, there's a big argument apparently in Japan about this right now, that Japan is one of the late joiners to the negotiations. And some groups in Japan have started objecting, and the government's saying, well, if we don't participate, you know, everybody else will be in and we'll be out. So that's the leverage that America's apparently using to try to get people on board.
But it's really important to point out it isn't free trade. You know, if you look at the actual trade barriers that exist between the United States and these other countries, at this point they're almost all very small. You know, if you have a tariff of 1 or 2%, you know, things like that, it really doesn't matter whether it's there or it's zero. So what this is really about is, you know, these sorts of, in many cases, provisions increasing barriers or restricting the ability to have environmental regulations, health and safety regulations. That's what's really about. Trade's really peripheral.